It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to the Travel and Cruise Industry Podcast. On this, the 5th day of September, 2025, coming to you from my studio in Forest, Virginia, right outside of Lynchburg. Today's show is brought to you by Will U.S., the owner of Scootaround, and of course by chilliescruises. We've got a special guest this morning. I'll get to that in just a second. And eventually we'll get to some news. On the headlines for today, brilliant lady arrives in New York City. Also this morning, bankruptcy approved for Spirit Airline. 55 tons of Sargassum removed from Cozumel Beach. The Zuiderdam rescues 2. A zero-proof drinks package. A distress call in Greece. Ambition held in port overnight. And a ferry sinks, leaving 60 dead. That and lots more here at 11 o'clock this morning. Today is National Cheese Pizza Day. If I'm eating pizza, I'm probably going to have something on it. Pepperoni, mushroom, sausage, banana peppers. I enjoy that. Bacon on occasions. I don't mind the ham and pineapple. I've kind of liked that a little bit too. Plain cheese pizza, I usually don't go that route, but that's okay. Today's Cheese Pizza Day. And this day in history, in 1882, was the first Labor Day parade held in New York City. Of course, it's kind of timely this, we're a weekend to past Labor Day here in 2025. If you're a podcast person, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the old fat travel guy. All right, one quick announcement to make. On Monday, Andrew Mitchell, the director of Adaptee Golf, will be my guest. Looking forward to that, because that's going to be a little different from many of the guests that we've had on this show. All right, so welcome aboard, guys, to a show that I've been looking forward to for some time now. Of course, it's another episode of Chillie Chats on Travel and Cruise Industry Podcast. Today's show has a little special meaning for a lot of us. And in that, we're raising our glasses high. Joining me is none other than Frank Bubba Shumard, longtime supporter of this channel. He's been on this show numerous occasions. He is the Holland American line fans legend, who today is celebrating his 2,000th drink of the day, which has brought a lot of joy to the entire Holland American community. We'll be chatting with Bubba about how it started, the drinks that stand out, and what it takes to keep the incredible streak alive. So grab your favorite beverage, folks. Sit back and enjoy it. With no further ado, here's my buddy, Bubba Shumard. Bubba, welcome back to the Travel and Cruise Industry Podcast.
Thanks, Chillie. It's good to be here.
I know that you've been through some incredible medical stuff this past year. Give us a 1-minute recap so you'll bring people up to date. And a lot of people are going to look at you and say, my God, he's gotten skinny.
Well, I don't know if you got 1 minute in this or not, Chillie, but basically the MedFlight crew now knows me by my first name. I've flown to Springfield 3 times on their chopper in the last year. And finally, they did open heart surgery on me in March. And then a month and a half ago, we decided that we were a young man and decided to try to lift a 100-pound box of car parts and popped a hernia. So we had to get that done. And then they're starting to talk about doing hip replacements. And I've said, not going there for a while. I may wander around on a cane, but I'm doing great, Chillie. And the weight loss has helped with the crippling injuries that I'm dealing with. But other than that, I'm feeling good.
Good. Well, I tell you what, I know that I'll never get out of the wheelchair now, even if I'd lose the same amount of weight that you've lost. But still, you know, for all that's gone on with me, I still get around pretty good too.
Right away. I noticed you were on a long trip.
Yeah. So, 2,000 drinks. When you first posted your first drink of the day, did you ever dream that you'd reach this milestone?
No, I got to tell you, Chillie, this whole thing was born out of depression. We had a 50 some odd day cruise to the South Pacific planned, and we're packed and at the door, and our kids were griping at us, "You're not really going to go because you could catch it." Well, we told them, yeah, we're going to go. And then the world shut down and had to unpack. And there's nothing more depressing than having to unpack something you haven't unpacked on the ship already.
Right.
It's tough. But yeah, 2000 was something I never expected. And the way, the personal growth that doing this and meeting more and more people in my life has been amazing.
Do you remember your first drink?
Yeah, I was, I think, 20 years old. Oh, you mean?
No, your first drink of the day.
Honest to goodness, Chillie, I don't. And I'm looking at going back through them and putting them together in a collection and publishing them in year volumes. I don't remember. I do remember that I was literally up late that night. Of course, when the world shut down, you're not going anywhere. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Answering each and every person. And I got to tell you, if you ever respond to me in writing on the Facebook page, you get a personal response. It's just common courtesy.
Yep. Even if it's just a thank you.
That's it.
I try to do the same thing. What's the strangest drink that comes to mind that you?
Oh, Chillie, there have been so many weird ones in some of the sources. I've had people send me some. I really couldn't single any of them out like that. Chillie, I'll be real honest. I don't have the memory that I had 20 years ago.
Right.
I have my bar guides, excuse me, that I use for this. And I'll go through and, there are occasionally days that I'll just go on the table of contents and be able to come up with what I'm going to use. Some of the titles I had to modify because some of the titles that the bartenders have are a little risque. And we are a PG audience. So
yeah. What's your personal go-to cocktail when you're actually on a Holland America ship?
And that's very, very simple. It's a martini, and it's made with Holland America's signature gin. Years ago, there was a gentleman that turned me on to a Dutch gin that I really thought was amazing. And then I talked to Drew Falk at Holland one afternoon, and he says, "I'm going to be aboard. You got to try this new one." And it's kind of like PTSD when I'm not aboard. I can't get that one, but Lynn makes me a martini every day or two for me, and it's here at home. It's Sapphire Bombay with either a twist of orange or lemon, and on the ship it's the line with a twist of orange.
Yeah. How long? And I know that sometimes you just mentioned that sometimes it's just pointing to your list and picking one out. But how long does it normally take you to put together a drink of the day get it written, the research you do on the history of who created the drink and all the things you do to post? How much time does it take you?
10 minutes.
Okay.
10 minutes out of my day. And if we're traveling, thanks to Liam, I have the ability to post them where they'll come on at a certain time down the way, because there are times when we were traveling, like when we were on the train trip, I had to do all of them in advance. So
yeah,
it's about 10 minutes per cocktail. It's really nothing compared to the responses that I get, the good feeling that I get knowing that in a little bitty light, weird way, I'm touching people's lives. And
you certainly are.
When we were in COVID, that simple putting of the elevator map in there, there were people that, like me, if I hadn't been looking at that, I wouldn't known
what day it was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what was always funny is, and excuse me, Chillie, I've done this in the last month. I put the wrong day. Oh. So that kind of straightens you out.
Yeah. Yeah. What's been the most surprising reaction from Holland American fans community to one of your posts? Something that stands out?
There are some people that absolutely revolt at any cocktail that has egg white in it. It gets an extreme negative response. And the egg white adds foam and froth. And it's kind of like meringue on a pie. And the alcohol kills any bacteria in it, I assure you. But that's usually the one that catches the problem.
On a given week, how many of your recipes or your drinks come from other folks' suggestions to you?
1 or 2 a month, maybe. And they're always welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it now and then I get one. It was a lot more at the very beginning. You ought to try this, and I'm pretty much open to that. And what always tickles me is when people say, how much of this do you drink? Well, I've still got a liver. Yeah. No, I can't drink like that, and nobody should.
Right.
And they if you look behind me, there's like 6 bottles and of different things, and they stay fairly full. The gin one gets drained, but excuse me, we have hay fever starting in Arkansas now. You'll have it shortly. It's just that I'll have to put something different together, but I'm working on it.
With 2,000 drinks under your belt, do you look at this as a hobby, or has it become part of your daily identity?
Absolutely, on the daily identity. It started out as a hobby, and due to some unfortunate circumstances, I've had to move into a role of being an active administrator on the group, and I'm blessed that I do that. We work very hard. Myself and Liam work very hard at keeping spam off this group. Yeah. We have people that apply to join that are obviously spammers. If you haven't done a Facebook post since 2013, you're not coming in. You don't answer the questions, and we review each and every profile to see if this is somebody legitimate. And we probably make mistakes, but and the group polices it like crazy, Chillie. They will, if there's a post on there about the financial ones are the big ones that I get hit with. The jacket and shirt deal has backed off, but yeah, it's a commitment. Lynn tells me that I spend way too much time here, but it keeps me busy and it keeps my mind occupied, and I'm blessed with that. And there are a couple more projects now that are keeping me even more. On Sunday is my 2000th drink of the day, but you're on Monday through Friday, so I had to get with you today.
Yeah. I know that you're close with a lot of bartenders.
Oh, yeah.
In the Holland line. So I'm not going to ask you your favorite bartender, but do you have a favorite bar?
Oh, absolutely. I am an Ocean Bar and Pinnacle Bar, followed by the one up on the Observation. But my personal favorite, depending on the ship, is the one that's closest to the Pinnacle Grill. Holland put a whole bunch of slot machines a few years ago into one of they eliminated a bunch of chairs and put in some as an experiment. And I thought, oh, I'm going to have to go into the hospital over this one. But those are my two favorites. And I have become very, very close friends with several of the food and beverage managers aboard, some that are still with the line, some that have left the line, and I still communicate with them on a regular basis. And they have been a great inspiration to me. The bartenders have been a great inspiration to me. And I got to tell you, funny is one night, Lynn was preparing of all things. It was a winter evening and cold, and she was preparing of all things pot pies. And she looked over at me and she goes, I wonder what wine would pair with pot pies. I said, I'll find out. And I sent an instant message to one of the sommeliers that is a buddy of mine aboard the ship. And it was 5 minutes I got a response. And it was good.
Yeah, not surprised. All right. So if Holland America came to you and said, we want you to do a drink of the day for the cruise line for given day, what would that drink be? Would it be your martini or would you do something else?
It is very, very difficult for me to stray away from, if you've been to a wine tasting aboard, they say the wine that is the best is the one that you like. It would be very difficult for me to stray away. The smoked old fashioned is amazing, and that one, and it's a show in and of itself, and so it's got drama and activity and everything. But of course my martini does too. I've actually got a video of a guy mixing my martini, putting the glass on his forehead and pouring it. So there's all kinds of things. But the smoked old fashioned I think is amazing. And now Holland has come out with a signature wine, and they've got a signature beer, and they've got a signature everything. And don't get me wrong, Chillie, I've sailed a couple other cruise lines. But I come home. We've got 4 cruises coming up in the next 400 days we're going to spend 100 and some odd days aboard ship. And I'm very excited about that. That I guess I would have to say, get out the bottle of DeLine. If you see many pictures of me with anything, it's the DeLine gin right there beside me.
Right. Beyond cocktails, what keeps you coming back to Holland America?
Every time I go aboard, there's a smile.
Uh-huh.
We were aboard on our first cruise, and the young lady fixing coffee for Lynn said, I remember you take such and such and such and such in your coffee. And it was from 1998. Wow. The memories, the smiles. I used to kind of kid folks when I was taking pictures with crew members. I'd say, all right, now look angry. Like this. We walked aboard a ship one afternoon, and all the way from the other end of the Lido, the Lido manager, or the Canaletto manager was there. And I looked down through the crowd, and he's like this. And it was amazing. And he and I are still such close friends. Yeah. It's the crew that keeps me coming back. It's the ships, for one thing. I don't like sailing on anything that looks like the SS Snowball. I like a ship that looks like a cruise liner from the old days, and Holland ships do that. But the smiles, the crew, the food, obviously, keeps me coming back. Whether you're in the fine dining of the Canaletto or the Pinnacle Grill or in the main dining room. The main dining room and the Pinnacle have both got lobster. Yeah. You can get it in both places. but it's the ambiance and everything that you pay for. As a matter of fact, I'm working on a book on that right now.
I sometimes wish, of course, Bubba knows that because of this show, I have to sail on all the different cruise lines. I sometimes wish that I could just sit back and go where I prefer going, but it's not in my deck of cards yet. Maybe one of these days I'll actually
if
retire.
another cruise line sends me their top of the line ticket and flies me down, yeah, I'll go and I'll write a review and I'll write an honest one. But and that's been another thing. There are a lot of people say, oh, well, you write good reviews for Holland because they give you Holland America didn't give me a dime.
Yeah,
I wish they did.
Me too. I've never gotten a penny from a cruise line.
I get it, but damn it, I just love them. Yeah. And the big kickback I get is, Frank, it's good to have you back.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, the thing that I get asked all the time, what's your favorite cruise line? And there's something good about all of the cruises. Somebody does one thing better than most. For me with Holland, it's the food. I mean, I adore eating on any of the Holland ships when I've been on.
We had a server aboard Holland a couple of years ago. His name is Prio. And if you're listening out there, Prio, because I know he follows the groups and things like this, Prio is brilliant. But what struck me is I wanted a little something added to my plate. And he looked at me and said, easy peasy. I went, wow. And that's another thing that I'm seeing is, since COVID, people are a little bit ruder. I don't know why. They're quicker to anger, whatever. But these folks smile and work for your smile. And that's, if you're not smiling, they're not happy.
Yeah.
I got really tickled here a couple of years ago. It was actually last year. I found out that one of the maitre d's was having a birthday. Well, I'm not shy. Mm-hmm. So I stood up, tapped the glass, hollered out in the best Marine Corps voice I could muster, may I have your attention? And I said, these people sing to everybody. It's this young lady's turn. The whole dining room sang to her.
Yeah. Wonderful. All right. So come Sunday, your 2000th day, mm-hmm. What are you planning to celebrate 2000?
I wish I could tell you that I've got a big plan. I wish I could tell you that I've got a big drink picked out. I don't. No. I'll figure that out somewhere around 5:30 in the morning on Sunday, which cocktail it'll be, and that's fine. I've got a little blurb that I'm writing about where this journey's taken me. It'll just be another day at sea, another day in paradise.
Are you planning on making it to 3,000?
I don't know. I've got well over 10,000 recipes in file. And that grew from a very small book on the first day. I've had people send me bar guides. Hey, Frank, you got to see this. And they ask for my address. And I always worry about giving my address to anybody. It's the old cop in me. But yeah, I've never had anything bad go wrong. And they send me some lovely bar guides. And they're great. The connection with the bartenders is say, hey, you got to try this. Somebody mentioned the Wang Wang to me the other day, and the Wang Wang is just this side of Ronson Lighter fluid, and I'm not drinking that.
All right, so what is your hope that fans take away from your drink of the day? And I know it's beyond.
It's just a smile. I've started, Chillie, getting more and more into writing, and trying to add a little more humor. And sometimes it's tough. I've got a great editor. She's in the other room right now and is just a huge help. But it's just a smile and, well, that sounds good, or that sounds awful, whatever, a reaction, a like, it doesn't take anything to click on like. And when we've got, gee whiz, 56,000, no on 57,000 people following that little group, which is not huge by, your standards, but it's monstrous by mine. We started out with 6,000 when I joined.
Yeah. And
that's 2,000 days ago come Sunday.
Right.
Did I ever expect that we'd be at 2,000? No, I did not. Did I ever expect to meet so many lovely people? No, I did not. Did I expect that I would be aboard a ship and somebody said, why don't you try this cocktail and send it to me? No, I did not. And what's the amazing thing is nobody's gotten their feelings hurt when I said, oh, I can't do that.
Right.
The wang wang, for one thing, came from a crew member, which is one of their favorites. I don't know how.
Yeah. All right. So what's ahead? You've mentioned that you guys are taking off on some, what'd you say, 100 days?
We have 40 some odd days coming up going from Seattle to Sydney. Through the Fiji Islands. And I love the South Pacific. Every time I look at an island, I go, I wonder if James A. Michener had been there. Or I wonder if Tom Hanks was there with his beach ball. We're doing that. We're doing a cruise around New Zealand and then back. That comes up in February. We have a long cruise from New York round trip to the Mediterranean and all the ports that we have planned a trip to the Med and to Rome and everything many times and gotten it started, and then something's come up we couldn't go. One of the family had an engagement that we had to attend, but that one's coming up, and I'm looking forward to it very much. I'm looking forward to the South Pacific, and then we're doing one in December for Lynn's birthday, just to get out. We're doing a 14-day back-to-back on the Eurodam. To the Caribbean, just like my mom said before she passed away, get out there, enjoy it. So that's what we're doing.
Well, in December, you're going to be in some warm, comfortable weather too.
Well, we're doing our best to avoid ice storms that they keep predicting and everything else. I don't want to have to drag the generator up.
I'll give you one little bit of hint. Don't do England and France in January and February. That was awful.
I'll tell you, if I could do Paris, France, Lynn would go if it was 6 below zero. Yeah, and she's a warm weather gal.
Yeah.
That is the one port, trip into Paris that, bless her heart, she let me go to Normandy instead of Paris. I'm spoiled, I admit it.
Yeah.
And we haven't been able to get her there yet, but that's coming. I want to see London. I want to see Scotland. But I've got to get that lady to Paris.
Well, of course, when you're looking at things through a wheelchair user's eyes, I much preferred London over Paris. But Paris is still it's a special place in your heart once you've been there.
Well, I've got a photograph of my dad from World War II standing with the Eiffel Tower in the background, and I know where it was taken.
Yeah.
So I've got a buddy that's going to superimpose the two of us together. It's going to be kind of
nice. Yeah.
It's in the plan. How much more time we got, Chillie?
We're wrapping it up, but go ahead.
Well,
you can take all you want.
I don't know if you've been following the spotlight on Holland America.
I have, yes.
It's going into book form and will be published on the 12th of this month. I have 3 books that are coming out, 2 that are, one is ebook and the other is in paperback form. Real excited about that. Be available on Amazon. And it's Spotlight on Holland America, a tongue-in-cheek and informative look at a cruise line. Little commercial there. I'm real excited about it. And I've had so much fun writing that. I wrote one of those as kind of a joke and it took off.
Yeah.
So here we go again. I've spent, gee whiz, the last 4 weeks writing a book.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the your work when it's ready. So, all right, Bubba, as always, my friend, it's so good to see you. You're looking unbelievable, just unbelievable.
I feel good, Chillie, and the best part is I always dress for they used to call it gala night.
Yeah.
I always dress formal for that, and I'm having to get my tux taken in.
Well, that's I wish I could say that. I've lost a little, but nothing like you've lost.
Keep after it,
Man,
Chillie.
I would love to have to start getting smaller clothes and having my clothes taken in.
I'd rather spend, honestly, I don't mind losing the weight, but I'd rather spend my money on cruises.
Well, of course. Me too. So, all right, Bubba, thank you so much. Congratulations on the lovely milestone. I'm just tickled pink to see you reach 2,000. I've been following you forever on that. So,
well, like Mom said, Chillie, get out there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, my guest this morning has been Frank Bubba Shumard. Bubba, we'll see you next time. Thanks for being with me.
Good to be here.
All right, guys. That was just awesome as always. I love having Bubba on the show. He's such a great guest. And, obviously, I feel very similar to his feelings about Holland America. Every Holland America cruise that I've been on has been just top drawer. I like them a lot. So, all right, I'll be back with today's news, folks, after a quick break from one of our fine network sponsors. Don't go away. I'll be right back. All right, guys, we're going to start off today coming out of New York City.
Virgin Voyages marked a milestone today as its newest ship, Brilliant Lady, sailed into New York City for the first time. Founder Sir Richard Branson was on hand to welcome the vessel as it passed the Statue of Liberty and entered the Hudson River, completing the cruise line's 4-ship fleet. The arrival was celebrated in true Virgin fashion, with more than 2,400 crew and guests taking part in a massive sing-along performance of Queen's Don't Stop Me Now, led by Astrid Jorgensen of Pub Choir. The top deck was transformed into a concert stage, set against the dramatic backdrop of the Manhattan skyline and Lady Liberty. This moment will leave a legacy far beyond our ships, Branson said, emphasizing the community spirit that defines the brand. What makes Virgin Voyages so intangibly special is our people. The debut of Brilliant Lady also symbolizes the close of Virgin Voyages' first chapter, which began in New York Harbor in 2020 with the launch of Scarlet Lady. The new ship joins Valiant Lady, Resilient Lady, and Scarlet Lady in completing the cruise line's adults-only fleet. Cozumel's Playa Chumel saw a massive cleanup this week as more than 55 tons of sargassum was cleared from its shores. The operation, part of the region's sargassum response strategy, brought together 500 volunteers, Marines, and public workers, according to Riviera Maya News. The algae will be dried and returned to the environment, preventing it from washing ashore again. Officials note the eastern side of Cozumel is most affected. Other hotspots across the Mexican Caribbean are also battling the seasonal seaweed invasion. Last month alone, 1,260 tons were removed from Costa Maya beaches, while Isla Mujeres collected about 2,000 tons in late July. Sargassum blooms, fueled by warming waters, remain a recurring challenge for popular tourist destinations across the Caribbean. Following its filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, Spirit Airlines announced that it received approval from the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the Southern District of New York for its restructuring plan, which includes continuing normal operations throughout the bankruptcy period. We are pleased to have reached this first milestone in our restructuring process, which will support normal operations as we take decisive action to ensure that Spirit continues delivering the best value in the sky for years to come, said Dave Davis, President and Chief Executive Officer. With these approvals in place and access to the many new tools now available to us, we can continue to implement our transformation to build a stronger foundation and future for Spirit. This is the second time the airline has announced Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which had emerged from just this past March with a new budget and reorganization plan. It was the first U.S.-based airline to declare bankruptcy since 2011. During the month of September, you can save 15% on mobility devices site-wide in our online mobility store. Shop for scooters, electric wheelchairs, walkers, accessories, and more. Additionally, on wheel mobility devices, save up to $600 on models C2, F and R. Just call the Scootaround Mobility Store. Call 1-844-664-7467. Use code September 15. A routine cruise turned into a rescue mission recently when Zuiderdam responded to a U.S. Coast Guard request to assist a vessel in distress off Boston. The ship had just departed Boston for a week-long voyage to Quebec City, with stops in Maine and Nova Scotia. After altering course, Zuiderdam's crew brought 2 people safely on board and later transferred them to Coast Guard authorities without incident. Following the rescue, Zuiderdam continued to Portland, Maine, where it arrived as scheduled. The identities of those rescued were not disclosed. Carnival Cruise Line has introduced a new zero-proof drink package that includes most non-alcoholic drinks. The package is now available for purchase, but will only begin service with cruises from September 15. Pre-cruise pricing is $29.99 per person, per day, or $34.99 if purchased on board. Voyager of the Seas responded to a distress call from refugees while sailing in Greece, which is now the 3rd cruise ship rescue to unfold in a very short time period. Though the cruise ship responded to the scene and was willing and able to render aid, the Hellenic Coast Guard was not far behind and took over the rescue. The Royal Caribbean ship has resumed its current 7-night voyage with no reported impact to the itinerary. Zuiderdam already rendered aid to 2 sailors on a sinking boat off the U.S. East Coast. Just hours later, news broke that Genting Dream rescued a stranded boater while sailing in the Strait of Malacca. Both of these were previously covered on this channel. Ambassador Cruise Line Ambition was held in port at Stavanger overnight due to rough weather. The planned visit to Kristiansand, Norway yesterday was not possible. This is the 2nd port change for the ship's current 11-night Norway sailing. A river ferry embarked from Tungan Sul in Nigeria's Niger state, bound for the village of Dugga. Laden with well over 100 passengers, among them men, women, and children, the vessel proceeded along the Malale River when it struck a submerged tree stump near the Gasawa community. The collision caused the boat to overturn and sink, setting in motion one of the most recent and fatal inland maritime mishaps in the region's waters. Emergency crews recovered 31 bodies from the river, while approximately 50 individuals were rescued and brought ashore. Several passengers remain unaccounted for, as rescue teams persist in their efforts to locate them. The local chair of Borgu local government, Abdullahi Baba Era, noted that the death toll had climbed to 60 and that 10 survivors were in critical condition. The ill-fated voyage had been undertaken as part of a condolence visit, with passengers traveling the river to pay respect to a recently deceased villager.
All right, here's today's cruise special from Alaska Travel Desk and Chillie's Cruises. This is the MSC Grandiosa that we've talked about this morning, sailing from Port Canaveral on December the 6th, 2025. Stops at Nassau, Ocean Key, Puerto Plata, and back to Port Canaveral. Inside cabins start at $469 per person. Solo cabins start at $664. If you'd like more information on the MSC Grandiosa cruise from Port Canaveral, call Alaska Travel Desk at 907-531-9140 or Chillie Cruises at 434-258-9264. MSC Grandiosa sailing from Port Canaveral on December 6th. All right, guys, that's going to put an end to the news portion of today's show. And a huge thank you to Bubba, Frank Shumard, for joining me today and sharing the story behind the legendary Drink of the Day journey 2,000 posts is no small feat, guys. And it's clear that Bubba has stirred up more than just cocktails. He's built a tradition that the entire Holland American community looks forward to every day. Whether you're sipping something tropical or keeping it simple with a classic, here's to raising a glass to Bubba and the next 1,000 drinks to see him reach 3,000. That would be awesome. Always good to have Bubba on Chillie Chats and Travel and Cruise Industry Podcast. All right, let's jump over in the chat room and see who's with us today. Some of you can tell that I did not have the second computer going because with having a special guest today, and I have a special guest on Monday, I'm not going to run the second computer until I can get a day that I don't have something special going on in case I get that echo back. So at least now it's working fine with the one cute computer on and the second computer off totally. All right, so Ada Welly, Aid Whale, I'm not sure how you pronounce this. One of our ex-folks says, hello, Chillie's Cruises. Thank you very much. Glad to have you with us. Gary Older Than Dirt, first one in the house today. Says, good morning, all. They're sunny down in Mississippi. Roger says, good morning from Jacksonville. By the way, guys, Roger is going to join us on the second week of the Grandiosa on February 14th. And also Nikki's best friend, Stacy, will be joining us as well. So our little group for those, at least for the second cruise, the 14th, has grown a couple more people. And if, folks, if you want to, I'll hopefully by Monday I'll have some stuff put together on the two cruises again to promote it. But if you're interested, call me, text me, send up smoke signals. We'd love to have you with us. Hot Air Tom is with us. Thank goodness it's Friday. Gretchen's here out in Ohio. Did Chillie's Cruises ever find that missing guest from last week? I have sent numerous messages, not gotten a word back. I guess she decided she didn't want to come on this show. I don't know. Never got a word. Bob's with us. Good morning, Bob. Says, have a great weekend, y'all. Thank you very much. Sonny said, hey, Bubba, good to see you. Roger says, just what I was saying. Roger signed up for the Grandiosa on February 14th. Nikki's bestie from her law school, Stacy, when they were newlyweds and we met back in the 70s. So that's cool. All right, looking forward to Stacy. By the way, Roger, in case you're still with me on this, if you can send me Stacy's email address, I was going to send you a message and I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I need to have that. I am going to contact my folks at MSC to see if we can't get everything coordinated for dining in the main dining room. So we've got an anchor for all of us. Sonny says, good for you, Roger. Going to be a great cruise for y'all. It is. I'm looking forward to it. Hot Air Tom says, great. There's Mike. Good morning, Mike. Always good to have somebody from the other side of the pond. Eve will join us. And we will be first-time MSC cruisers. Oh, it's Eve Stacy. Is that what I'm seeing? Did I get that wrong? Let me see what I put down here, folks. So Roger just, I'm looking at Roger's post and wondering if I copied it wrong or not. No, it's not. It's Eve Stacy. I was saying Stacy. That's her last name. Eve is Nikki's bestie. My bad on that. They're both going to be on deck 14, which is the same deck Gary's on. Ken and I are on 9, and Tom and Cindy are on 10. But we'll have a nice group. I hope we have some more. Don't get me wrong, folks. Definitely would like to see some more of you out there. All right, so let's get back over here. Super, Roger. Can't wait to see all of y'all. Welcome aboard. I agree, Gary. There's Joanne, says hello from her hospital room. I'm sorry about that, Joanne. There's Kenneth, says good morning, everybody. Tom says, what's wrong? Hope you recover quick, Joanne. There's Todd. Good morning, Todd. How you doing? Here, Joanne's telling us what went on. I had a weird heart rhythm. I've had it before, but only lasted a couple minutes. This lasted 20 and scared the heck out of me. I guess so. Haven't had it here in the hospital waiting for the docs. Wow. All right. Thinking about you, Joanne. Get better quick. $20.13 for the last Facebook post in the NCL Latitude group. If you didn't post within the last 6 months, automatic decline. Yep. Sonny says, scary, Joanne. Hope the docs can correct this. Take it easy and rest. What's automatic decline on Facebook Latitude? On Facebook Latitude group. Decline for membership in the group in order to weed out the bots and spammers. An active Facebook page is required with recent activity. There's Jamin. Good morning, Jamin. Says happy Friday. Has Robin asked you any weird questions about February? I told her I was confused. Ken says no, not yet. Gretchen says I'll be seeing that background tomorrow, but it's supposed to rain in New York City. Might just see clouds. Well, that's a possibility. Although, they keep calling for it here, and we haven't. It was crappy yesterday, but just for part of the day. I will text you E's email address. Thank you, Roger. I appreciate that. I left Joanne's post up here. So let me go back here and take care of that. Where'd that go? Okay. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. I got a message yesterday that my new glasses are in. And those of you that know my schedule knew that I was at the dentist yesterday. So just to do an appointment, I have to load up my wheelchair. Then I have to unload it at the dentist. I go in and do the appointment, which they installed my new crown. Then I have to load the chair back up, drive home, unload the chair again, and pull it into the garage. I was in the house for, I don't know, a couple hours, and they said your glasses are in, and I wasn't sure I was up to 4 more loads and unloads. It's a strain. I mean, I have enough time to load the chair and strap it down, or unstrap it and disembark the chair before I lose oxygen, but it runs me right up to my limit. If it takes me an extra 10, 15 seconds, I'd probably be on the ground. So I just wasn't sure I could handle doing it again yesterday. I said, I'm just going to go after the show today. I'll get the show processed and up, and then I'll go pick up the new glasses. So when you see me on Monday, folks, I'll have my new glasses on. So, All right. That's going to wrap it up for this week, guys. As always, I'll be home this weekend. Take care of business here. And I'll monitor things. If anything major happens, I'll do a show this weekend. All right. That's going to wrap me up for today. As always, guys, thanks for being with us. Again, my thanks to Bubba for joining us today. Hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. All right. That's going to wrap it up for today. As always, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising. And hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas like a bunch of us are doing for the Grandiosa. Have a great Friday, an awesome weekend. I'll see everybody back here on Monday. Gretchen, have a great trip. See y'all next time.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chilliescruises.